There are moments when reality seems to waver. It's not an earthquake, it's not a storm, yet something moves, invisible, like a shadow stretching from far away, a premonition that touches the soul. In these times, among those who study prophecies and those who listen to the whispers of seers, there's a warning that returns more and more often, with growing insistence. An unprecedented blackout is coming. Not a temporary malfunction, not a few hours without power, but a total darkness, extensive, sudden, and frightening. Imagine you're at home, perhaps cooking, perhaps talking with someone, and in a fraction of a second, everything disappears. Not just the light, but every mechanical sound, every vibration, every connection to the outside world. The refrigerator shuts off, the television becomes a dead rectangle, and the phone has no signal. The entire city transforms into a desert of shadows, interrupted only by the sporadic glow of a candle or the reflection of the moon. But that glow, if visible from outside, could become a beacon and attract what you would never want to encounter in that moment. Because it's not just about a lack of electricity. No, this darkness is accompanied by something else, something that the most sensitive have already perceived. A tension in the air, as if the entire world were holding its breath. The prophecies speak of days when it will be dangerous to look outside, of a time when it will be necessary to close and seal every opening, preventing not only the cold from entering, but also unwanted presences from knowing that there is life inside. Many have underestimated these words, thinking of exaggerated tales. But the truth is that history is full of moments when sudden events have transformed the ordinary into a nightmare. And what if tomorrow it happened to us? What if tomorrow darkness fell and the world outside was no longer safe? Here's the point. When the blackout arrives, there will be no time to look for duct tape, blankets, panels, or anything else needed to protect your home. You'll have to do it beforehand. Because as soon as the lights go out, every lost minute will be one more risk. Many think that the blackout is just a technical eventuality, a power grid problem that could occur under exceptional circumstances. But those who carefully observe events, and especially those who know the messages given in visions and apparitions, know that this phenomenon is much more. It's a sign, a stage, perhaps a divine warning. The prophecies, while never indicating a precise date, converge on a disturbing concept. It will be sudden. Some seers speak of when the world will be distracted, immersed in its celebrations, others of a time when tension between nations will have reached a breaking point. In recent years, this tension has grown evidently. Conflicts are getting closer to major powers, economic instability is global, energy infrastructures show fragilities never seen before, and atmospheric phenomena multiply with intensity and irregularity. All these elements, put together, create the perfect ground for a catastrophic event of worldwide scope. The blackout could be triggered by an extreme natural event, like a solar storm capable of burning circuits and satellites, or by a geopolitical conflict that leads to targeted attacks on electrical networks. But it could also be something more mysterious, as suggested by many prophecies that speak of days when the light of the sun will be obscured. The reason why this event is thought to be imminent is that the signs are already increasing. Anomalous phenomena manifest in the sky. Solar activity registers peaks never observed before. Sudden and unexplainable interruptions occur in different zones of the planet, and a growing number of spiritual figures repeat the same warning. Prepare for days of darkness, close the doors, and remain in prayer. Some link this moment to the point where humanity will have exceeded a moral limit, when evil will be celebrated and good openly mocked. Those who are attentive will know how to recognize the warning signs. They could be sudden drops in internet networks or phone signals, unusual noises in the sky like deep rumblings, a sudden change in natural light with the sun veiled, or the sky taking on unnatural tones, agitated and disoriented animals, or dogs barking for no apparent reason. And then there's that feeling of oppression, as if the air itself became heavier and harder to breathe. These are small clues that, for those who know how to read between the lines of reality, can become the last minutes of preparation before darkness falls. The real danger, however, will not be the simple absence of electricity. The blackout will be a moment when society's defenses collapse. No cameras, no reachable police, no alarm system. In the darkness, a house lit by a candle can become a beacon, visible from afar, and attract unwanted presences. The darkest prophecies speak of voices that will try to convince you to open, of presences that will imitate the sound of loved ones, of subtle attempts to make you lower your guard. Some spiritual texts warn not to look outside, not to answer, not to open, because in those days, heaven and hell will compete for souls. What we must fear is not only cold, hunger, or thirst, but confusion and deception. It could be the moment when darkness, in both literal and spiritual senses, will try to penetrate wherever it finds an open breach. This is why preparation is fundamental. Having blessed candles, supplies of water and food, materials to seal doors and windows, and the readiness to close every access without hesitation. When darkness falls, there will be no more time to think. It will be the moment when everything will depend on what we have done before. Only those who have understood the signs and listened to the warnings will be able to cross the night and see the light of day again. When the blackout arrives, every second will be precious. There will be no time to improvise, no room to hurriedly search for what's needed. The difference between a protected house and a vulnerable one will be decided in the minutes immediately following the darkness, and that's why you must be ready right now. Lock the doors, seal the windows. Make sure that not even a thread of light, not even a moving shadow, filters from the outside. The main door is the first point to work on. In appearance, it's sturdy, but often it has cracks invisible to the eye through which a glimmer can filter. The first operation is to block it from the inside with additional systems beyond the simple lock. A security bar, a metal rod fixed at the ends, or a heavy piece of furniture wedged in front. Those who have the time and means should get additional internal deadbolts fixed at the top and bottom so that the door cannot be forced even with a violent impact. It's also essential to check the lower part. A thin crack can become a channel of light visible from outside. A strip of dark cloth rolled up, or better yet, a rubber or felt panel fixed with adhesive tape, can completely seal the space. Secondary doors and internal ones that lead to rooms exposed to the outside must be treated the same way. The logic is simple. No opening, no signal, no sound that could betray your presence. In the most critical moments, even a voice coming from inside can be heard and attract unwanted attention. For this reason, it's advisable to position thick rugs or folded blankets at the foot of doors, creating a barrier that muffles not only light but also sound. Windows, then, are perhaps the most delicate point of the entire house. During the die, they are eyes open to the world, but during a prolonged blackout, they can become luminous wounds in a skin of total darkness. Even the weakest light of a candle can be seen from dozens of meters if filtered through a crack. For this reason, the first rule is to completely darken every glass. The best method is to combine multiple layers. Inside, heavy curtains or dark blankets well fixed to the edges so that they adhere perfectly to the wall and don't let any beam of light pass through. Above, a second layer of opaque material. It can be thick cardboard, thin wood panels, or sheets of plywood cut to size. Those who don't have rigid materials can resort to makeshift but equally effective solutions. Multiple overlapping blankets, fixed with nails or packaging tape along the entire perimeter. The important thing is that there are no folds or openings. In emergency situations, even black garbage bags opened and carefully fixed can create a barrier against light, especially if used in double layers. Some prefer to put the darkening material outside to give the impression that the house is empty, but this operation can be risky if performed when the blackout has already started. Better to prepare everything in advance, with panels already ready inside and quickly fixed as soon as needed. A detail that many forget is the upper edge of windows. If the covering doesn't reach the ceiling or doesn't adhere well to the wall, light can filter from above and be visible outside as a suspicious halo. The solution is to fix the cloth or panel with strong tape or wall pins so that it doesn't hang freely. The lower side must also be sealed. A simple draft can betray your presence. For windows with shutters or blinds, closing them is not enough. You must block them from the inside so they cannot be lifted, and then further darken them with cloth or panels. The concept is to create two barriers, one physical and one luminous. The first prevents access, the second prevents anyone from knowing that there is life inside. Those who live on high floors must not underestimate the possibility that light can be seen from afar, even at great distances. At night, in a world immersed in darkness, even a dim glow can be perceived as a signal. It's precisely for this reason that many prophecies insist on total internal darkness. Once doors and windows are locked, silence becomes an ally. Avoiding loud noises, heavy movements, or high-volume conversations is part of the protection. Those who move in shadow must do so with discretion. Preparing in advance 1 or 2 refuge rooms already darkened and acoustically isolated can be the best choice. Fewer surfaces to cover, fewer possibilities for errors. Finally, a last piece of advice that combines prudence and spirituality. If you have blessed candles, let them burn only in areas where light cannot filter in any way, and use them not only as a source of light but as a sign of protection. The darkness of those days, according to those who have received these warnings, will not be only physical. Sealing doors and windows serves not only to protect from curious eyes or hostile hands, but to create a boundary between the outside world and a space where the presence of evil cannot enter. When everything is wrapped in silence and darkness, your house will become an invisible fortress, and in that silence, the light that will burn inside must be guarded with care, hidden from the eyes of the world, but alive before God.